Hey guys, I'm with the final part of this video, and all of it pretty much on the prequel toy lines, and this is part 3 of the 2005 Obi-Wan Jedi Starfighter from Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. So, I think I said in the last video, this was very fun to put together. As you can see, the figure can fit in the cockpit very nicely, unlike Attack of the Clones figures. It's kind of embarrassing. There's a few Attack of the Clone figures that I'm going to actually have to get from the vintage collection that should have been posable for Attack of the Clones when it originally came out in 2002, and those figures are Anakin Skywalker in peasant disguise, Zam Wessel. I feel like I'm missing that one, but that's what comes to my head at the moment, those two figures. Yeah, I think it are those two figures. I could be missing one that I know of, but yeah, when they first came out in 2002, they were not posable at all. Oh yes, Obi-Wan Kenobi too. Yes, in Coruscant. I forgot that one too. When he's riding on the droid through Coruscant. So I'm going to have to get those three figures. They're not that expensive, but I will probably review them in the distant future when I pick them up. But it's just kind of weird that I'm doing that for a prequel line that's only really about 10 years old. Um, so, anyways, or no, not 10 years old. 2002. So, wow, it's 12 years old. Wow, so crazy. Um, so going back to this, this is the Obi-Wan Kenobi Jedi Starfighter pilot figure from Revenge of the Sith. It's posable, and this is one thing that I loved about Revenge of the Sith now being a collector, because I completely ignored them when they came out. I was in high school by that point. Um, but I have to say, I loved how Hasbro went back and really focused on articulation, because now these figures could finally go back in the vehicles like they were supposed to, unlike Attack of the Clones figures back in 2002. Um, but yes, I just loved the articulation. Also, they were starting to do, I think around this time too, that the molded head and the whole of the torso was kind of obsolete, and they still can. I don't think they do that anymore. And what they do is, this is a ball, and the head can come off. Just in case if you get rough. If you played with these, if it just pops off, you're not going to break the head off. So I thought that was a very smart idea. Also, some other smart ideas are like the legs can pop off. They all just kind of pop in and pop out if it got to that type of play if you were a child. So I think that was a really good engineering design on Hasbro's part. Not that that would happen to me, but I just think that was a smart idea. Not only we rework kinks like that, but make it be able to sit in the vehicle like Star Wars figures are supposed to. Because when you look at an Episode 3 figure and an Attack of the Clones figure, it's almost like you're looking at two different categories. One that's not really good and one that's really good, which is this. So it's kind of weird of what kind of happened there in 2002 with Attack of the Clone figures. And if you look, there are just so many figures from Attack of the Clones. I'm not even halfway done. I think there's so many figures that I think I'm going to be keeping sealed the deluxe figures that came out with Attack of the Clones, because I've opened them before and I remember having them. They're just really flimsy, cheaply made, and they don't work at all. They're very, very gimmicky. Um, I think, in my opinion, I think some of those deluxe figures are probably from Attack of the Clones that I could think of the top of my head. Probably some of the most gimmicky Star Wars toys out there. So I'm probably going to keep those in the box. I mean, hey, it's nothing bad keeping anything in the box. It'll be worth more one day. But anyways, going back to this, cool thing about the Obi-Wan here, it comes with headgear and this cape, these kind of vinyl heavy-duty capes. Were introduced back in the Power of the Force 2 lines, back in the 90s, and I'm kind of happy that they kept it. I just like it. Cloth is really nice, but it can damage very, very easily. Um, Other thing comes with the lightsaber. It comes with a lightsaber hilt. I took that off so he could sit in there. Um, has some cool features. You press this. Come on, shoots a missile. Um, these missiles are painted, so but very durable. So, and also one of the coolest mechanisms that I like on here, and I will show that in a minute, is this wing mechanism. It's flight mode. So what you would do is, if you could bear with me, you would press this button right here, and it would pop out the wings. So, yeah. And this R2 can come out. And this R2 can come out, and you can put another R2 in there. So, yeah, I love this vehicle. I think it's really cool. I love a lot of the Revenge of the Sith. Most of the Revenge of the Sith toy line reminded me of kind of the Power of the Force / Return of the Jedi toy line. It was around the time when, Star Wars was in the 80s, and it wasn't like appreciated like the lines before it. Honestly, I really think Return of the Jedi and Power of the Force are better than this, and I mean the Power of the Force from the 80s. But I feel like in this time gap, when these toys came out, Star Wars was just being ignored because people were not happy with the movies. So, and there are a lot of figures with this. I think I got to get at least 27 left, or around in that, either 25, 27 in that range. But I got to say, it's not an overwhelming line to collect. The figures are really cool, and, I think it's fun to collect, too. It's because it was the last prequel film, and, it kind of tied everything up, and that was a really big deal at the time when this film came out. It kind of put a rest of the prequels, but finally in a good way. Unlike Attack of the Clones, there's so many figures. I think there's more figures and vehicles and everything else that they made for that. I love. I love collecting this stuff, but I gotta say, Attack of the Clones, I could see once again where all this kind of got to people, where there's just so much of it. But luckily, it hasn't really hit that value mark where it's expensive to pick up. And an easy way you could also collect this stuff is buying it in lots on eBay. But another thing that I honestly think that really held up with the prequel toy line altogether, with the films, or the instructions, and something that Star Wars has done very well over the years. Here's the Revenge of the Sith instructions. Save the catalog. Here's Attack of the Clones instructions. Oh yeah, and this is very gimmicky. I had this when I was little back in 2002. This was gimmicky. It didn't work like how it is in this photo. And then Episode 1. So all these were fun toys. I had a few of these. I had both of these lightsabers. So that's it. And my last words are, since we have another trilogy coming out, we could call it this sequel trilogy. Let's hope these toys are good. Let's hope Hasbro keeps it up. I really like what Hasbro's doing now after what they did with the vintage collection. They're keeping a lot of that in there, a lot of that engineering in there. I'm not expecting anything with electronics. Maybe there will be. But some other news I want to make about the sequel trilogy too. It will be the first Star Wars set of films where I will be keeping everything in their boxes. So I wanted to do that. I think it would have been kind of a cool change for a bit. I mean, I have the other 6 films, loose, or I've opened them myself. The stuff that I've opened is only prequel stuff, nothing from the 70s and 80s. Obviously, I would not do that. But only things from the prequels. So, But yeah, but for the next set of films, it will be all sealed. So I don't know if I'll be reviewing it because there'll probably be thousands of people doing reviews on it, and I'm predicting it's probably not going to be as bad as this um, when they first came out. So I don't look at it at these next set of films if the toys and the movies do really well, as it's going to be a underdog Star Wars uh, trilogy. But anyways, any advice that I could give you guys, if you are collecting prequel stuff, and if that's what you want to do, keep collecting it. I'm just going to tell you, I understand if it could be overwhelming. They did make a lot of stuff, Hasbro, and some figures they did not need, and I can agree with you on that. But I think loose or packaged, is the way to go. And if you do it packaged, you're probably doing it the smartest way because it'll have value in it maybe one day. But anyways, thank you for watching and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.